Hey everyone, Kira Alston here, thank you for stopping by. So as you could probably guess by my numerous fan works on this channel, I am very much into media. Movies, TV shows, video games, I'm interested in a lot of that, it's my passion. And just like any other human being on this planet, I have some movies and shows that I particularly enjoy and revisit frequently. So, today I've decided to try something new, and that is to record myself rewatching things and providing commentary on it. So these are all things that I've watched through at least once. I suspect a lot of them will be stuff that I've watched more than once, but the minimum criteria is that I've watched it at least once. And I suspect in terms of commentary, it'll probably range from me pointing out little details and making jokes to giving a genuine commentary on it. Obviously, I'm not going to include everything I say, it's going to be chopped down for your guys' viewing pleasure, but that's the type of commentary you can expect from me. So, I was originally planning on starting off this idea very formally. I was going to pick a movie from, my childhood, or one that I've watched many times over the years. However, I think in order to get my most authentic commentary, I need to kind of just go with whatever I'm super into at the time. Plus, again, I'm trying something new and something that I think is a fun idea, and I think in order to keep it fun, going with what I'm currently into is the way to go. So, the thing that I am currently going with is Ed, Edd and Eddy. For those who don't know, Ed, Edd and Eddy is Cartoon Network's longest-running original show as of 2022, a record that has yet to be beaten. It ran from 1999 to 2009, and it's basically just about three boys who share the same name, they live in a cul-de-sac in the suburbs, and they come up with get-rich-quick schemes in order to buy Jawbreakers. Pretty simple. To give a brief rundown of my history with this show, I actually didn't know jack shit about Ed, Edd and Eddy. Zero. I didn't even know the premise of it until I started watching it. The only exposure I got of it was through various shitposts on Tumblr, but specifically still image shitposts, so I never saw any clips, never heard of any episodes, maybe, vaguely, some moments in some episodes. But other than that, nothing. Which is pretty crazy considering how popular the show is, to be quite honest. So yeah, whenever I started watching it, I went into it blind, more or less. And the only reason I started watching it was because a friend brought it up. I got curious because I'd been vaguely aware of this show for years, I knew people loved it, so I wanted to see what was so good about it. Turns out there's a lot good about it, huh? Big shocker! And, I finished the show in, a week or something crazy like that. I think it was at a point where I was watching, a season per day. And then I proceeded to watch the movie at 1 a.m. It was a fun time. I stayed until 6 a.m. that night. Awesome. Anyway, so I finished the show in a week. I've rewatched some things here and there since then, so it's very much still fresh in my brain. I will say that I'm not going to be watching every episode in order, just because that's a very long and strenuous process. How this is going to work is that I'm going to watch the very first episode, the pilot, the original, and then I'm going to use a number generator to randomly pick episodes, just to keep it interesting for myself, and hopefully for you as well. I'll be sure to add the episode titles and what season it's from on the screen between episodes. It's at this point that I'll say that this video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the show yourself and want to, I recommend not proceeding beyond this point. I mean, I'm not really certain how many spoilers there are in this show. I mean, it's pretty episodic, but you know what, if you're just that type of person, you're I don't want to know anything, absolutely nothing, then, and plus I could mention spoilers from the movie too, I guess. But anyway, and whether or not you wish to watch it, I would also recommend checking out Does the Dog Die for any potential trigger warnings before proceeding. It's a kids show, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Sometimes kids shows can still be a little nasty at times. I also understand that Does the Dog Die isn't a catch-all, so I will be adding any additional warnings as I see fit, assuming they're not already on Does the Dog Die. So if I'm not putting the warning up on the screen, it's probably because it's on that website, so definitely check it out before you proceed. With all of that said, let's get right into the rewatch. I will start off just really quick that I adore this intro. I think it's very cute.
4,820. 24. Ooh, I like what you've done with that tunnel. 4,831. 4,835.
It's very bizarre listening to their voices. after the fact, because yeah, it's like if you see here, it's like is really quiet, constantly mumbles. The point I'm trying to make here is kind of how the voice acting just sounds so different after watching through it all the way. Like, it's kind of crazy, like watching like season 5 and then going back and watching the very first episode. But yeah.
Hey, Double D! What took you so long?
God, Eddie's voice especially. He just sounds so much more relaxed in this episode. It's crazy. Like, he probably just sounds so much more relaxed in season 1 period versus, like, him constantly shouting in season 5.
Eddie! Someone took my magnifying glass. I feel so violated.
Maybe you misplaced it.
Never!
Hey, Eddie! What's up?
Hi, Ed Double D! You guys make me laugh.
It's epidemical! Double D's magnifying glass? Sarah's doll?
You know, it's kind of funny going back and watching this episode and just being like, oh yeah, remember that time the Eds just like, committed a war crime? Remember when they just casually tortured a child? Also, this is like a look that Eddie's got going right now. I wish he wore sunglasses more. Actually, for a while, I did not, like, catch on at all that Eddie's supposed to be, like, sunburnt, and that the stuff around his eyes is, like, his normal skin color, but it's just, like, because he had, like, glasses on or whatever, preventing him from getting sunburned in that area. I had no idea. Like, I legitimately just thought he was just like that. Like, everything else was so weird in the show, I was just, like, completely accepting that he just, for some reason, had, like, lightness around his eyes anyway.
This will make you swell up good.
God, his face! The only exposure I got of it was through various shitposts on Tumblr, but specifically still image shitposts. This was one of them. I remember this face so distinctly. And I was very taken off guard when I watched this the first time and saw this particular face. I hate his face. He's so smug. I hate him. Full disclosure, Eddie's like my favorite character. So when I say I hate him, I mean it in the most affectionate way possible. But, like, I hate him.
So, boys, what's big, round, costs a nickel?
Jawbreakers!
Man, that was a cute moment. I didn't even remember that. There's not that many cute moments between, Ed and Double D later, I find.
We know you didn't do it, Johnny. Mang, moo. Hang tight, Johnny. This won't hurt a bit.
They're like, we know you didn't do anything, but we're gonna shove you down this hill anyway, because it's fun.
Good.
Should we feel guilty about Johnny's predicament?
Nah, you know what they say. A little childhood trauma builds character.
There's a few lines in the show that hit a little different, after watching the movie. But, Eddie... It is also kind of a little funny hearing Double D kind of go like, should we feel bad about this? And as soon as Eddie's like, no, he's like, okay. I am this beetle and God is Double D with this pair of tongs. I kind of, they don't really touch upon Double D's, like, interest in bugs that much later on. I feel like it's a cute trait. I feel like it's an underrated trait.
It's a masterpiece of nature.
Looks like my hairnet.
Okay, looks like my grandmother's hairnet. That's awfully bold of you to say, Eddie. You wear a hairnet yourself, even though you only have 3 hairs to your name.
Sailors are all alike. You should go back to diving for clams.
That's enough!
I kinda appreciate that the thing that makes Eddie snap here is, you know, the fact that Ed, in particular, is being picked on.
Now get out of here and never come back!
Well, you heard her. Let's go.
This has been quite educational.
You know, the Kanker sisters are, like, obviously, like, objectively fucked up, just kind of in the way that they approach things, but you do have to just sort of wonder what, life they're living, I guess, like, to have this, like, very odd perception. I mean, we've established that they're all half-sisters, because they have 3 different dads, and they only have 1 mom. So, because, I mean, it is, like, their behavior is a reflection of the behavior that they're probably seeing at home. You know, obviously that's no justification for half the shit that they do. They're obviously still very creepy in a lot of ways, and just the way that they behave, but...
A box of eggs!
Bring them over! I'm starving!
I'm Ed! Banana flavor, Eddie! Want a bite?
Hold that thought.
Yeah, I definitely remember what this episode is. I remember it only because I made a joke about it, that this was, like, Telltale Salmon Max in a nutshell.
Where do eggs come from, Rolf?
Let me show you exactly where the egg comes from. Eggs come from chickens, Ed.
Rolf was really just about to show him, too. I think that's the funniest part. He was really just about to be like, hey, let's take a look.
Come out here, will ya? We just need some lousy paint. Where are ya, you little... Ow! He bit me!
Feral child! You're laughing. Your friend just got bit in the hand, and you're laughing.
Say, you haven't seen any clams around here, have ya?
Could we borrow a cup of clams?
Can Eddie come out to play?
I'm right beside you, Ed.
Hi, Eddie!
I don't care about anything else that's happening right now. I just want to look at Ed.
Oh, Ed!
Yes, Eddie!
Check it out! Doesn't that lawnmower look like the Thermodestructo Wibble Whacker from Space Leech 4?
I think the thing that I appreciate the most about Eddie saying that is because I feel like it kind of shows that he's, like, listening to Ed's special interests. Like, you know, like, how do you say something that specific unless you know? You know?
My dad uses it all the time on his grass.
And it's a big bag!
But we're a situation.
And you kiss your mother with that mouth?
I think Maz has such a neat haircut.
Trouble! Big!
Fine. We mow her out and charge her.
Eddie, you look that way! We're coming, Sarah!
There he goes! There he goes! He's trying to help her. I really appreciate how Ed isn't at all focused on the scam. He's just like, I need to save my sister. I need to save her. This is definitely one of those episodes that really kind of, highlights the fact that Ed does genuinely care about Sarah. I love Ed and Sarah's relationship a lot, like their dynamic. I think the fact that, Ed really subverts the trope that you commonly see, especially in, like, older cartoons, where it's like, oh, the older sibling, especially the older brother, is so annoyed by his younger sister. You know, I feel like it's just really sweet how he subverts that trope by being like, oh no, like, my little sister's in trouble right now. And I know part of it's to do with his mom and just, like, not really wanting to get in trouble with her. But I feel like there is a part of it. Well, I think actually most of it is just genuine, because Ed is, like... Ed's just such, like, an earnest person, really. You know, I feel like he's way too... I feel like it'd be very hard for him to pretend to care if he didn't. So, I don't know. It's just really cute. This episode, I think, is really sweet, because it does kind of highlight, that protectiveness he has towards her. I just appreciate him as a big brother.
Sarah's fine.
Okay, so that was the first Kira rewatches, and the first Ed, and Eddie Kira rewatches specifically, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely plan on posting more rewatches for this show, because it's what I'm currently into. I won't be rewatching every single episode, again, because that's a massive task that I can't commit to, but I'll try to get through a fair amount of episodes. Ed and Eddie's a pretty good show to practice this type of thing with, because not every episode is super thought-provoking. Most of them are just goofy episodes, so it's not like there's a bunch to dissect all the time. So, yeah, that's about it for this part. Thanks again for stopping by, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Later!